So hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the 12 Days of Switchmas, and today I will be talking about Super Mario RPG, the only one just for me. And yeah, this is an excellent remake, and I am so glad that this game exists, because this is kind of the first step, the fully bringing back the traditional Mario RPGs. Now we already know what's coming after this, the Thousand Year Door remake, but it's great that back in June, we knew that we are gonna at least have something that will fill the void that was kind of created with the Mario RPGs and everything. So I am so glad that Mario RPGs are back, and this was the perfect game to kind of bring the traditional Mario RPGs back, since this is the first game and all, and it kind of did inspire both the Paper Mario and Mario & Luigi series, as many elements from those games originated from Super Mario RPG, such as action commands. Like, action commands are a major part of the battle system in this game, and also, like, all of the different scenarios, and, like, funny scenarios, and the kind of interesting and unique take on the Mushroom Kingdom, and like an interesting story in the Mario universe. It's not too deep with its story, but it still is more interesting than most of Mario's stories. There are a lot of different characters with interesting dialogue and things, kind of like how you would expect to see from either the Paper Mario or Mario & Luigi series. And it's just great across the board. And this remake retains basically all of the charm from the original game. Really, the only thing that's lost is like a couple like pop culture references and like a few name changes that actually made a lot of sense. Like some of the Smithy Gang members' names changed to kind of more closely fit the weapon theming. I mean, all like the most iconic ones, like the Axum Rangers and Smithy, Bowyer, different things like that. Like those characters kept their name, but some of them changed their name, like Yuridovich to Spiritovich, and then I think Mac to Clay Morton. Though Mac did make a lot of sense, but I guess Clay Morton is kind of a little funnier, I guess. But like the Smithy Gang do have more consistent names now, like at least with like English names and everything. So there were like those changes, but this remake mostly keeps everything faithful. Like, all of the designs are surprisingly faithful to the original. And with all of the years of, like, restrictions and potential mandates that people were kind of having discourse about online, I feel like this Mario RPG remake kind of, like, pushes things in a more creative direction again. I mean, even though it is, like, a remake of something older, it is showing that these kind of crazy and unique designs can exist in a modern Mario style and can exist in 3D and everything. And also, Super Mario Bros. Wonder is kind of pushing into that weird direction too, since Mario Wonder is just as weird and unique, if not more, than Mario RPG. But there's also a lot of really cool additions on top of this remake being faithful. So the first thing is the additions to the battle system, since they added a really cool combo system. And this combo system definitely adds a lot to the battle, since it basically fills up a gauge that lets you do different like triple moves, which are kind of like special moves. And it's really cool. And the combos also give you some like different like stat boosts for the party members, which is really cool as well. And it also kind of adds a beat to the music, similar to the like the front-running music in Mario Kart. So I think that's a pretty cool addition. And then another thing with battles, you can actually swap out the party members, which is something that you could also do in the older Paper Mario games. I know you can do that in other RPGs, but I feel like it's most comparable in the sense of Mario to Paper Mario, since this game directly precedes Paper Mario in terms of like the Mario RPGs and everything. And they also like added things like splash damage if you do a perfect action command, or you take 0 damage if you do a perfect block. things like that. I know it does kind of make it a little easier in some areas, but they did kind of balance it out a little bit by adding like some special enemies and super bosses at the post game as well, which I think is pretty nice. I really like the special enemies since it's a good way of getting frog coins, and it's also kind of like balancing out like the difficulty and everything, even though this game is still fairly easy for an RPG. But with its difficulty, I would say that this is a very beginner-friendly RPG, and it's great if you want to get into RPGs in general as a genre, or get into the Mario RPGs, since I feel like this is definitely like a great starting point, because it kind of shows off some things that are in the other games and kind of gives like newer players kind of like an expectation of what to expect from the other Mario RPGs. So I feel like this is the perfect Mario RPG to start with. And also, like I said, the perfect RPG in general to start with. But they also added like some little extra features as well, like the monster list, which is kind of like a bestiary, similar to the Tattletog or the Piclopedia, that can be filled up with different enemies, and you basically use Mallow's Thought Peak ability to fill it in. Kind of like Tattle in the Paper Mario games. So I think it's pretty cool that they have that feature there, and it kind of adds to giving you another thing to like work for 100% in this game, which I really like. And there's also like the scrapbook that adds even more to like the story and like world building of the game, which is great. Obviously a sound test mode, which is great to have, and different things like that. And also like a play report that shows like your stats on like in battle or in mini games and things. And then of course, as I mentioned before, the super bosses, or like the bosses at the end of the game, which are really cool, and some of them are very challenging, especially the powered up version of Kulex, like the final one. Like, I really like them. They're actually designed pretty well, and they're pretty unique compared to their normal boss counterparts. So yeah, the Super Mario RPG remake is excellent. I think this is just a great game in general. Like the original game was already really good, but this remake makes it even better, I would say. But yeah, so anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.